Hi guys, Laura here from Hedgehog's Homestead. Today I thought I'd just take a second and tell you about the failures here on the homestead. Things that went wrong. If you guys are homesteaders, you guys may have done some of these things. One of the things that I didn't do when I moved out to Tennessee is really look at the pest pressure that I would have here on the homestead as far as bugs and just knowledge like that. I didn't realize how bad it could get out here with the bugs. I mean, we have bugs here that I could never imagine. The beetles and the June bugs and the Japanese beetles, same thing, June bug, Japanese beetle. All of those things, knowing what grows well, that it rains here more than it rains in Portland, Oregon. But it comes down in big waves. We do have more times of sun, but we actually have more rain here. He's not a problem. So one of the things that we've dealt with lately here is coyotes. Coyotes have been a big, huge problem on the homestead. Not keeping my girls protected as I can. The ones that seem to free range actually do better. The problems I've made with chickens, let's go over chickens real quick. I once hatched out some chickens, and so I tried to put one of our chickens, our baby chicks, in under a broody mama. Now that didn't go well because they attacked that baby, and they killed that baby because they tore off a big section of her skin, and she passed away from it. So that was horrible. I felt horrible. Not keeping up on the weeds. I constantly fail on that. But I'm doing a large percentage of the work on the homestead by myself because my husband works. Not weeding as much, not watering as much. Failures with pigs. Probably keeping them on a spot too long. Other than that, I think we've done really well with pigs. Kept them here too long, probably should have moved them. Not moving them on pasture quick enough. We should have had our first group on pasture, but we were worried about it. Both Chris and I were worried about them getting out of the fence, him not being here. He was at work all the time. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So not having enough knowledge about livestock. And that's changing this year because we now have people that we can call at any moment about cattle, about pigs, about goats, about any kind of livestock you can imagine. They know a lot. And so we have advice. Letting my ducks free range too much. Losing 3 ducks because they were free ranging. Not letting my ducks in the garden quick enough. They saved me from so much bug pressure in the garden that I should have had them in there the whole time. So when we fence in our garden, we'll probably have these 3 ducks in there. And I will use their kiddie pool water to fertilize my garden. Another thing that I didn't realize that there was so much free fertilizer everywhere when you have a homestead, because you have all these animals, you have all this manure, you have all this duck water, you have all these things. I used to use synthetic fertilizer all the time. Now I barely use it at all. Not researching my plants enough. I finally have learned, and I didn't take the advice from the videos that I was getting seriously enough. So the advice that you would get from a video about how to use your seedlings, what to do with your seedlings, like right now, these seedlings were kind of leggy. My broccoli over here, my cauliflower, were kind of leggy. They're doing okay now. But the seedlings that I have in there, because I'm replacing a lot of them because they burnt in the sun, not learning enough about the plants that I'm planting. I constantly fail on that. This is my pepper bush. This is something I haven't conquered yet. I live in Tennessee. I should have big old pepper bushes. But, so, I have to study this year. I want to grow some serious peppers. We can have peppers. And so having hot, spicy things boost your metabolism. So I want to grow some decent peppers. When I moved here, I was a little overwhelmed. And so I was gardening like I was gardening in Oregon. And it is not the same, folks. It is a whole different animal. So that is one of our biggest fails. Not doing our homework and not trusting the facts that you see in front of your face, like the pigs being on 2-wire. You see everybody do it, but we didn't trust it. And now look at this. We have pigs on 2-wire and piglets on 2-wire. And it is going fantastic. So I do have some I have 2 free-range roosters, which I discovered that other one's a rooster too, and 1 free-range chicken. I need to catch that free-range chicken. This is our mama pig over here. One thing that we did well is that we got a breed that I like. We could probably go with different breeds, but we're still discovering that. And learning from other farmers. We failed on that on the first year and kept them in a pen that was smaller than where the piglets are now. We had 3 pigs and we ended up with 1 because she would not get on the trailer. Listening to my farmer about letting these guys birth naturally and not intervening. I am so glad I did that. We did lose 2 piglets and we may have not lost those if I was right there with mama, but you know what? She did it on her own. She cleaned them off. She took care of them. So trusting your local farmers that have been doing it and trusting a local farmer that's doing it close to the ways that you want to farm. You don't want to get advice from just any smojo. You really want to get like our farmer that is our mentor, is into permaculture, is into pigs on pasture, is into all kinds of animals on pasture, free roaming, multi-species, not adding just the same grass, and so we are raising we'll be raising all our animals, the goats out for the weeds. We will have the cows out for the grass, and they will eat some of these grasses that look like weeds. So you guys will see that hopefully next year as we get up fence. One of the things that we are not comfortable with, and you hear, no fences, no hard fences. Hard fence your perimeter, especially if you don't want your animals getting out and losing money. Organic isn't everything. I do organic mostly. It's just because it's easy, but it isn't everything. It is not the end all be all as far as food. We are just lucky enough to be able to get our food from Kofi, and it is and we can afford it. Kofi Farm and Feed in Kentucky, I forget the town. I know that some other people have had problems with Kofi Farm and Feed in their area, but we have plenty of no problems with ours. The only problem we've had with the layer food is maybe a little less protein than I would like. And in the pig food. Our sow food could use a little extra protein in it, so I add a little extra protein to the sow food, which is cheap to do. You just buy a little sunflower meal and add that in. So, the pig food, outrageous, $30 for a 50-pound bag of pig food. So raising them on pasture is going to save us some serious money because, let's turn this way so you guys can see my face. Raising them on pasture is going to save us some serious money because of that they can root up things like she's doing right this very moment. Root up food. So she's eaten and now she's rooting up her area and looking for food in the ground, which they love to eat roots. They will eat bugs. They get your cicadas that are buried in the ground. If they're by the trees, they get all kinds of like worms, bugs that are buried in the ground. So they're great for that. And so if you want less cicadas, put some pigs by your tree lines, and they'll get those bugs out of the ground. So anyways, so those are my failures. Really research what kind of bug pressure you have. Really research those bugs and how you can get rid of them naturally or unnaturally. It's your business. Research the area that you're going to move into if you're going to move into a new homestead. I underestimated the heat here. We have at least a month of where it's like high 90s to 100 and where there's no rain. Research your well. Know that there's aqueducts under the ground. We didn't do that. That was one of our failures too. We could have got a map of underground water areas and told the guys to dig there, and we probably would have saved a lot of money, about $20,000 on making a rainwater catchment system, because we would have had a good enough well. I know a guy that, actually our farmer, that he was using one of those maps, and he told the guy to build it 20 feet from one of the areas that was on the map that he should have dug, and he only has half a gallon a minute, like we do with our well, and then it's hard water. So we probably would have had a change to the regular rainwater catchment system that we have, but just because our water goes through limestone, and that's why it's so hard. So that's about it. Keeping the pigs, our first batch, on in a hardwire fence in a small area the whole time that they were growing. I'm much happier having these piglets out on pasture with mama, and so that's one of the things that we did do right. But the first batch, I'm happy. This pig over here, you should have saw her when we put her out on pasture on wire fencing for the first time, and she could root around and get into stuff. She was the happiest pig. She literally did leaps and jumps, and she was a happy pig. She was on a 16 by 16 before that. And so raising your pigs and your animals so that they're happy really brings a lot of joy to what you're doing too. So don't make that mistake of confining your animals and all that. Making sure that they have the bedding, and moving your animals on a regular basis, because when you do that, guys, you really keep the pest pressure off of them. That is the key to worms and a lot of the things. If you don't have the property, worm your animals. If you don't have the property to move your animals a lot, worm your animals. But if you can move them and you can keep them from worms, because what happens is if you have animals long enough, it doesn't work very long. They they just get immune to the wormer. So if you do have wormer, just switch it up. Each time do a different kind of wormer. So anyways, so that is my, I wish I have done better. I wish I knew better. A lot of times it's wish I knew better. So, you know, you watch these videos and you forget what you watch. So if you're going to plant something, research that plant. If you're going to start seeds, research starting that variety of seed. Because I could have saved myself a headache. I could have been doing a lot more from seed quicker. And so take your time, slow down a bit. Slow down. That's what we're learning this year. As we were going to do cattle, we were going to have somebody put up a fence this year, and our financial situation fell through to do that. That was a blessing. So it was a blessing because we needed to slow down. And so getting cattle and goats this year, and maybe sheep, would have been, whoa, big learning curve quick, just like we did with the pigs. So, so thank God we're still learning. We will always be learning. You never stop learning. And thank you for watching this video, guys. God bless. We'll see you next time here on Hedgehog's Homestead. Bye.